Welcome back, everybody, to the Dave DY Show. Our next installment, it is an addendum, an update, an adjunct, a follow-up, an add-on, an addition, a companion, an accessory for our previous pretty successful podcast. My 14-year-old is smoking pot, marijuana, now what? So, this past Friday we had a urine test, we had a drug test, and we passed successfully. So, our child has been not imbibing, no longer smoking for at least 10 days, which is a good thing. It's tough. Really, really tough. You have to stay on top of your child all the time. Every day it's work. When you come back from a stressful work day, from stressful environments, from exercise, from whatever challenge that you have to engage that child, your family as a whole, your partner, your spouse, in the events of the immediate. What is our health, our welfare? How are we doing? How did the day go? It has to be personal. It has to be interactive. There has to be communication. It has to be direct. It can't be hidden. It can't be small talk. You have to ask how school went, how the teacher engagements were. Did you eat lunch? How's your friendships going on? How are the kids that you're associating with? What's the state of your head? How are you feeling? How are you emotionally? Every day you have to do this. If you don't, the child will never understand. Our child's slowly starting to understand, as much as a 14-year-old can understand, right? They have their limits, their brains are developing, and hopefully without having cannabis clouding that development and actually hurting that development, right? And truthfully, communicating, you have to allow that child to listen, and the child has to learn to listen. And you have to listen and teach that child what listening skills are. Listen, contemplate, respond, actually say, I don't know, I need to think about it. It's human to continue to fall back on comfortable behavior or our innate or learned habits. So it's very likely that there will be setbacks with that child, which we've experienced. And you have to continue to positively track, manage, engage, interface, love, supervise, mentor that child. It's tough, man. It's a lot of work. Parenting's a lot of work. Owning a pet's a lot of work, right? It'll fall back. You'll focus back on the same issues, the same friends, the same habits, fall back quickly. We're creatures of habit. We fall back quickly into the things that we know, that we're comfortable with. Learning and changing behavior is a monumental human task. And for children that are growing, holy moly, for a lot of adults, it's extremely hard. So be prepared. Be prepared for some time and investment and love and work. It's a challenge. Ultimately, after our child passed their urine test, we asked, would you like your phone back, or would you like to hang out with some friends this weekend? So we understand your accomplishment, your hard work. We're going to reward that. It took no time. Our child said, don't want the phone, I want to hang out with friends. So that's what we did, and it was pretty eventful. We had fun. It was pretty cool. But I was also very surprised that the phone was not a primary. And then I realized Snapchat, Instagram, Kik, all the hidden apps, all your ways to communicate with your friends, those are primary for children. Children nowadays are struggling with those problems. It's been going on for a while now. Almost every high school or school in general, grade school, for our child who's 14 and in 8th grade, have some child that sells burner phones out of their locker. They call them burner phones because of Breaking Bad or The Wire, where drug dealers used to have prepaid cell phones or service no longer provided cell phones or upgraded cell phones with damaged screens, where you can connect to Wi-Fi and use multiple components of the apps. Text, you can send Snapchat, you just need an internet circuit. You don't need to make phone calls. If you don't understand that, you have to start to figure it out as a parent. I just turned 50. I'm a technologist. Yeah. Hook it up to Wi-Fi. Hook it up to the neighbor's Wi-Fi. Most Wi-Fi nowadays don't have passwords for older generational people, for people that just don't know. You can find free Wi-Fi anywhere, and with a legacy phone, a burner phone, your kids don't need your phone that you provide. We walked into Trevor, his room, and we see a phone sitting on the bed. And the phone doesn't belong to my child. What's that? Tracy takes it. Oh, yeah, some excuse. Clearly, a child at that school sold my child, traded for weed oil, traded for money, traded for free lunches, traded for whatever, traded for a Fortnite account, passwords to your internet, passwords to your Netflix, whatever. And there's a phone upstairs that my child's using to text, to talk, to Snapchat, to Instagram, to Kik, to whatever, with his friends for selfies, for texts to chat, for links to Instagram, for catch-ups to what we're going to do for planning, to hang out, to smoke, to buy drugs, to go here, to go there, to do whatever. Burner phones. They're everywhere. How many cell phones has your family owned? How many are in drawers that your children can pull out and use? And all of a sudden you wonder, we took the phone away and it's not a big problem. Check your internet provider. Monitor your usage. Look at the screen time usage. Check the websites. Use the parental controls that show up on Wi-Fi, X-Fi, Comcast, whatever. Turn the Wi-Fi off. But man, the kids nowadays are smart, and they'll use those phones and they will be uninterrupted in whatever activities they're doing, unbeknownst to you. Don't think it's happening, it's happening. And as a parent, there's approaches you can take. You're unified. You're consistent with whatever the rules are. You're consistent with the repercussions for breaking those rules. You're willing and able to take drastic measures for the health of the household, the health and growth of your child. Will you find alternate management of your child if the child can no longer stay with you? You're going to go live with relatives, with other friends. Is that going to be helpful? Do you hit a breaking point where it's destroying the relationship between your mother and father, the spouses, the children, the individual family as itself is tearing apart? There's no longer communication, there's screaming, there's yelling. This is not unusual. This is normal. We don't know how to handle these problems. And usually one parent is much more lenient than the other. Sometimes it's the mother. The mother loves their child. No, let's give them the phone. Let's maintain their liberties. They look like they're trying hard. Children are smart. They manipulate parents against each other. None of this is new. The two parents have to communicate and be honest and truthful and calm with each other. And it has to be in the best interest of the family and the child. And these phones and these social media accounts and a child's inability to remove that lifeline. They're up all night. They don't wake up for school. They're fatigued. They have lethargy. They have slowness and lack of interest. They're texting and Instagramming and Snapchatting, doing things unmonitored all night. And you have to insert yourself into that world. You have to be very, very cognizant and highly scrutinize what's going on in that child's life. My child has rights. It's not fair to me to search that. That might be the case, but sooner or later that child's safety and health are primary. They override any of those issues. And you as the parent have to take ownership of that. You have to control it. And it's tough, man. And we found this to be tough. We found a foreign phone sitting in my child's room. So clearly a transaction was made for one of these phones so that my child could text, Snapchat, Instagram, Kik, hang out, talk with the friends online. Dude, screw you. You're stupid. You don't even know what I'm doing. And it will continue. And sooner or later, the child grows up, and through their own experience, their own maturity, and your continued love, support, and mentoring, they understand how silly these arguments were, how silly these environments were, how this thing became all of their focus, and that there's other things in life: friends, jobs, exercise, health, hobbies, learning, expanding your mind, love, relationships, driving a car, new hobbies and talents and skills. Huge world. But it's so hard for some of them, many of them, to break out of the bubble of that cell phone. My older child, we find that with the cell phone usage. Always on it, always watching video. Completely absorbed. You have to break that mold, and you have to be aware of some of these pitfalls. So, the update is that we are progressing and we're finding success, and it's a battle every day, a challenge, something different, work, interaction, fun, exciting, changes, surprises, accomplishments, successes. And that's life. It's just different with a phone, with social media. And you have to accept them, embrace them, and you've got to be a part of it. And if you're not, if the job and other distractions are causing you not to be a part of that, you'll fail. Your child will fail. And that's what's happening. That's what's happening around the world. Has been happening. And we throw our hands up and we're angry. Why? And we're victims. And you're not a victim. You're actually a contributor to the failure and breakdown of that development of that human life. And you're responsible, almost solely responsible with that child, as the parent and the overseer and the power of that household. You gotta admit it, man. You gotta understand it, and you gotta own it. And it's tough. So that's my update for now. I wanted to share it. Successes and drawbacks and failures, but progress, always progress. And always positive, and always love, and always growth. So we're making it every day, and I'm glad you watched. Subscribe, comment, like, share. I hope some of this helps you with what you're experiencing, and I love y'all. And thanks for being part of the Dave DUI Show. Out!